This country, which looks like a walking stick on the map of South America, is Chile, the longest country in the world with its lands covering an area of 4,620 kilometers from north to south. Despite its extraordinary appearance, it is almost the same size as Turkey, with an area of 756. I can show you just how big this piece of land is, although it's hard to tell the length of the country in numbers. When I took Chile as it was and placed it on the European continent, starting with Germany, it stretches all the way to the Nigerian border. When I place it on Europe again with a horizontal angle, it ends at the borders of our country, starting from Portugal and going all the way to the border with Georgia. Despite its ostentatious length in this country, only 19 million people live. Although Chile has unusual borders for map lovers like me, on the other hand, since its geographical borders extend to Antarctica, it is possible to observe polar ice caps in the freezing cold in the southern regions of the country. In the northern regions, you can also go on safari in deserts where it has not rained for 400 years. Their flags are almost identical to the US state of Texas. Yes, absolutely anyone who has looked at South America on the world map has wondered about Chile because of its shape. I can't wait to tell the details of Chile's extraordinary sides. If you want to help me, you can subscribe to my channel and like the video. Due to the extreme length of the country, it is very normal that it is suitable for different climates. For this reason, while there are rainless deserts on the northern borders, the southern regions are home to glaciers due to their proximity to the cold subantarctic region just north of the Antarctic region. Therefore, it has various climates. Chile's proximity to Antarctica is not just about the glaciers within the country's borders, because Chile has a base in Antarctica. On the other hand, they say that 1,250,000 square kilometers of Antarctica belongs to them. What they call the Chilean Antarctic state land is the territory they claim in Antarctica. The continent is not considered the territory of any country, but Chile is one of the 7 sovereign states that claim territory in Antarctica. Other countries are Argentina, Australia, France, New Zealand, Norway, and England. You know, many countries send scientists to Antarctica to carry out scientific activities here, and many countries have temporary bases on these ice-filled lands. As part of the 3rd National Antarctic Science Expedition, he established his temporary base in Turkey on the White Continent and hung our flag. Going back to the topic, although Chile bases its claims here on historical continuity, being a neighboring country to the region, and scientific evidence that the land they claim, the Grahamland region, is the continuation of the Andes mountain range passing through their country. These lands do not officially belong to Chile. Just as Chile claimed land in Antarctica, Spain once claimed these lands. It is known that around 13,000 BC, people lived within the borders of today's country. Northern Chile belonged to the Inca kingdom until shortly before it was conquered by the Spanish. The Inca Empire was the largest empire in pre-Columbian America. They had a strong army and authoritarian structure, and just as in ancient Egypt they worshipped the sun and believed that their king was the son of the sun. The arrival of the Spaniards in 1527, which brought with it some diseases, weakened the empire. When Emperor Huayna Capac died before he could choose his successor, his 2 sons fought for the throne, and the empire was divided into north and south, which caused a civil war in the Inca. After these events, the Queen of Spain allowed Francisco Pizarro to conquer the Inca country in July 1529. When Pizarro and his men arrived in Peru in 1532, they were not perceived as a threat, but rather welcomed, because, according to Inca belief, the sun god Viracocha would one day return from overseas to provide peace and tranquility. While Pizarro and the Inca emperor were thought to have had a good-natured meeting, the Inca emperor was captured by the Spaniards, and from this date on, the Spaniards began to use the divide-and-rule tactic to seize these lands. Pizarro demanded a roomful of gold and ransom for the emperor he held captive. Although the Incas complied with this request, Pizarro did not keep his word and executed the emperor on July 26, 1533. As I said before, the emperor was seen as God's son on earth and was considered a demigod. The execution of their emperor meant great internal turmoil and chaos for the Incas. Taking advantage of this turmoil, the Spaniards began to occupy the entire region by cooperating with the separatist forces. After this invasion, Chile was a Spanish colony for about 300 years. Due to the country's remote location and very little gold and silver in the country, Chile was initially a colony of little importance to the Spanish kingdom. Later, With the discovery of other agricultural products and minerals in the country, it became an important supply area by the Spanish, but the people of Chile started to express their freedom in the early 1800s. Chile, which gained its independence on February 12, 1818, conquered the Atacama Desert region, which had been in the hands of these countries until then, in the Pacific War with Peru and Bolivia between 1879 and 1883. Thus, Bolivia lost the coast of the Pacific Ocean. Very rich copper deposits were later found in these areas. The world's largest copper mine is currently in this region. What is not missing in a newly formed state? They're mixed. In 1891, the Chilean Navy revolted against President Balmaceda, resulting in civil war. Unfortunately, 6,000 people died in this war. When Balmaceda lost the battle, he committed suicide in September 1891, but Chile's cauldron continued to boil. In 1893, border problems began to occur, this time with Argentina. In 1902, King Edward VII of England mediated this problem, and Patagonia and the Land of Fire were divided between the two countries. In other words, I can summarize the event as follows, as you can see on the map. Argentina was claiming land on Chilean overseas territory, which has no land connection with the country. When these lands were divided as 54,000 square kilometers to Chile and 40,000 square kilometers to Argentina, the problem was eliminated, with these territories taken first from Peru and Bolivia, and then from Argentina. Chile continued its expansion and became incredibly tall. Looking at this geography, I can say that it mostly has a mountainous structure. The Andean mountain range, which runs through almost the entire country, naturally protects some of Chile's borders, making it difficult to invade. Chile today exhibits many of the features that typically characterize Latin American countries. Their culture is largely Spanish, as they were colonized by the Spanish for nearly 300 years. However, I can say that his influence in the indigenous culture continues. People became mestizo, meaning descendants of two or more different ethnic groups, a mixture of largely Spanish and Injun blood ties. Chileans are ethnically a mix of Europeans and Injun. The first interbreeding occurred between indigenous tribes, including those from Spain, in the 16th and 17th centuries. Basque families who migrated to Chile in the 18th century stimulated the economy and became the political elite that still dominates the country. It will also help to understand the ethnic structure to say that very few Africans were brought to Chile as slaves during colonial times. I would like to tell you about this place not from a strategic point of view, but from a touristic point of view. It happened that you wanted to come here and see the beauties with the eyes of the world. What do you need to do? Torres del Paine National Park, glaciers in Patagonia, Atacama Desert, and of course Easter Island are places you should definitely see. Easter Island is one of the most remote inhabited places on Earth. Despite numerous researches, it is not known for what purpose the statues on the island were made. It is not known exactly when the sculptures were made, ms. It is thought to have been built between 1000 and 1600 again. According to estimates, these stone statues are the ancestors of the natives who communicated with spirits. Chile is an interesting country with its Inca traditions, geography, and culture, that is, all together. Would you like to see the longest country in the world? Please leave your comments in the comments, this is very important to me. I am waiting for your support on the way to 10,000 subscribers. Don't forget to like the video and support me by subscribing to the channel. See you in the next video, take care.